AMCS Jets and anyone else listening, I've decided to continue on with Dr. Doolittle. We're at chapter 16 now, and it's called The Rock. They've been looking for a little boy's nephew, and they've searched high and low. They've used eagles. Oh, is it an uncle? Oh, you can see Andrew's still with me, but he doesn't really want to, say much. But so the nephew, they have this boy on board their ship, right? And they're looking for his uncle who's missing, who really likes peppermints. So this is 16, The Rock. Up they got up early next morning. The sun was shining brightly and the wind was blowing from the south. Jip smelled the wind for half an hour. I smell no peppermint, he said. We must wait till the wind changes to the east. But even when the east wind came at 3 o'clock that afternoon, the dog could not catch the smell of peppermint. The little boy was very sad at this and began to cry again. But all Jip said to the doctor was, "Tell him that when the wind changes to the west, I'll find his uncle. I'll find him even if he's in China, as long as he still has the Richard's oil of peppermint tablets with him." "3 days they had to wait before the west wind came. This was on a Friday morning early. As soon as Jip awoke, he ran upstairs and poked his nose in the air. Then he got excited and rushed down again to wake the doctor up. "Doctor," he cried, "I've got it! Doctor, wake up! Listen, I've got it! The wind's from the west and it smells of nothing but peppermint. Come upstairs and start the ship quick." So the doctor tumbled out of bed and went to the rudder to steer the ship. "Now I'll go up to the front," said Jip, "and you watch my nose. Whichever way I point it, you turn the ship the same way. The man cannot be far off with the smell as strong as this. Now watch me." So all that morning, Jip stood in the front part of the ship, sniffing the wind and pointing the way for the doctor to steer. All the animals and the little boys stood around with their eyes wide open, watching the dog in wonder. About lunchtime, Jip spoke to the doctor in private. "The boy's uncle is starving," he said. "We must make the ship go as fast as we can." "How do you know he's starving?" asked the doctor. "Because there is no smell in the west wind but peppermint," said Jip. "If the man were cooking or eating food of any kind, I would smell it, too. But he hasn't even fresh water to drink. All he is taking is peppermint tablets. We are getting nearer all the time, for the smell grows stronger every minute. But make the ship go as fast as you can, for I am certain that the man is starving." "All right," said the doctor. He sent Dab-Dab to ask the swallows to pull the ship, the same as they had done when the pirates were chasing them. So the stout little birds came down and once more began to pull the ship. And now the boat went speeding through the sea. It went so fast that the fishes had to jump for their lives to get out of the way and not be run over. All the animals got very excited. They watched the sea in front of any land or islands where the starving man might be. But hour after hour went by, and still the ship went rushing on over the same flat sea. No land came in sight. And now the animals sat around silent. The little boy again grew sad, and on Jip's face there was a worried look. It was already late in the afternoon, and the sun was going down. Suddenly the owl Tutu, who was perched on the tip of the mast, cried out, "Jip, Jip, I see a great, great rock in front of us. Look, see the sun shine on it? Is the smell coming from there?" And Jip called back, "Yes, that's it. That is where the man is, at last, at last." And when they got nearer, they could see that the rock was very large. No trees grew on it, no grass, nothing. The great rock was as smooth and bare as the back of a tortoise. Then the doctor sailed the ship all the way around the rock. All the animals squinted their eyes and looked as hard as they could. John Doolittle got a telescope from downstairs. But not one living thing could they spy, not even a gull, nor a starfish, not a shred of seaweed. They all stood still and listened, but the only noise they heard was the gentle lapping of the little waves against the sides of their ship. Then they all started calling, "Hello! Hello out there!" till their voices were very hoarse, but only the echo came back from the rock. The little boy burst into tears and said, "I'm afraid I shall never see my uncle any more." But Jip called to the doctor. He must be there. He must. He must. The smell stops here. He must be there. I tell you, sell the ship close to the rock and let me jump out on it. So the doctor brought the ship as close as he could and let down the anchor. Then he and Jip got out of the ship and onto the rock. Jip at once put his nose down close to the ground and went to run all over the place. Up and down he went, back and forth. At last, Jip let out a great bark and sat down. And when the doctor came running up to him, he found the dog staring into a big, deep hole in the middle of the rock. The boy's uncle's down there, said Jip quietly. No wonder those silly eagles couldn't see him. It takes a dog to find a man. So the doctor got down into the hole, which seemed to be a kind of cave. Then he struck matches and made his way along a very long, dark tunnel with Jip following behind. At last the tunnel came to an end, and the doctor found himself in a kind of tiny room with walls of rock. And there, in the middle of the room, his head resting on his arms, lay a man with very red hair, fast asleep. Jip went up and sniffed at something lying on the ground beside him. The doctor stooped and picked it up. It was a rather large tin, and inside were Richard's oil of peppermint tablets. All right, Jets, I'll come back with chapter 17 very soon. Have a good night.